How much support do you have for this effort right now?
Well, I think that probably every member of my caucus would support the bill, and it's probably one of the more frequently brought up issues around the state. So I think that the people of our state take this issue very seriously. They're listening to their county sheriffs who are telling them that their jails have significant populations of people who are here illegally now, and they would like the issue to be addressed. And this is the way in which the state can address it. Obviously, it's primarily a federal issue, but at the state level, this is the best step we can take to make sure that we have a coherent immigration policy for our country.
We'll talk about some resources on the local level and state level here in a moment, but you will likely face some pushback from your governor. Have you heard from the governor about this yet?
I haven't. This is the second time, as you sort of indicated before, that I've introduced this bill. I introduced a version of it with the same text in 2022, and I introduced a version just a few weeks ago in 2024. Neither time did we receive a hearing on it, although in 2022, I think that had to do more with the legislative calendar. But I don't expect that Governor Whitmer will probably agree with me on this. I think she tends to see the immigration issue almost completely backwards from my perspective. And so I don't expect this bill to be signed this term, but I think it would be good to have a discussion about it. And if we could have a hearing on it, I think that everyone in the legislature would understand how much support there is for the bill and why it makes so much sense.
Let's talk about some of the resources and the burden on communities. What have you seen and heard from your constituents on this?
Well, we wind up with all kinds of situations across the country, across the state. So it's not limited to my area here on the Michigan border with Ohio and Indiana, but it's really a nationwide problem where you wind up with families with different immigration statuses, children who people want to see go to school, but whose parents aren't here legally. And really all of this is just kind of continued by having a patchwork enforcement system where some local governments are unwilling to cooperate with federal policy on it. And then in other times, in other cases, the problem is that the federal government is not doing its job of securing the and leads to all kinds of chaos, really, again, across the entire country. So when I hear about it, the first thing that I hear is secure the border. And again, that's obviously a federal responsibility. But at the state level, our job is to cooperate with the federal government's immigration enforcement efforts.
Michigan's a long way from the border. I think, however, we have found that every community is a border town right now with immigrants arriving daily in big and small cities. I'm curious if your proposal gains momentum given some of the recent deaths. Ruby in your state, we had Lake and Riley in the state of Georgia, in Athens. How does that impact your effort in the conversation and President Trump's visit in the last few days?
Well, this is something that I've been talking about, again, for years since I've been in the legislature, and it's been a problem in our country for longer than that. So I do object to anyone who's claiming that we're sort of politicizing the tragic deaths, tragic murders of young women in our country at the hands of illegal immigrants, because this is a problem that we've been trying to address for much longer than just the last several months. But these murders do highlight the problem that we don't have the situation under control. In the case of the murder in Grand Rapids of Ruby Garcia, you have an offender who had already been removed once and got back into the country illegally now. Obviously, if we had a better immigration enforcement of our immigration laws at the border, on the southern border, then we would be in better shape because he wouldn't have been here in the first place. So it's not only these issues, but certainly these issues do, in the worst way possible, highlight the basic problem we have of an unsecure border and no knowledge, no way to know which illegal immigrants are here, and no way to prevent them from committing crimes once they're here.
What are the conversations, Representative, that you're having with your colleagues who are sent to Washington to address this issue? And is that going anywhere?
Well, yeah, I can say that I think that we have some members of our congressional delegation who take this issue very seriously and have, again, for a long time. Congressman John Molinar, who you might know is leading the efforts on the United States security with China now. He's also been a strong advocate on these issues, as have, I think, most of our delegation from the Republican Party. I will say that there are others who have taken a very different view, including Representative Hillary Scholten, who represents the Grand Rapids area. Her record on this issue is much worse, and I'm hoping that this incident in her hometown helps her kind of break past the political ideology that she's been pushing of open borders, and instead toward, again, a consistent and coherent enforcement of our immigration policy, because the only alternative is to essentially just let whatever happens. And that's not the level of responsibility that the American people expect from their federal government.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.